Hello, confident, successful real estate investors. It is Wednesday, live coaching Wednesday at noon Central Time. And I'm so grateful to be here. And if you're here live, write hashtag live. If you're here watching a replay, write hashtag replay. I'm going to talk. Whoever's going to come is going to come, and it's going to be freaking perfect. And I'm grateful, like I said, to be here today. So go ahead and say hello where you live. Why you're here today, and I'm here to support you. And the more engagement that I see, the more it allows me to connect with you. And I'm here to connect with you. I'm here to connect with me, and that's why we're all here. So what I wanted to talk about today, and I was sort of really grappling with, like, what is it that I want to share? Because there are a million different things that I want to share, and I'm just going to share what's going on. Hi, Nigeria, amazing. Hi, welcome to this group. And this group name is probably going to be changing, okay? I don't know what it's going to be. Don't ask me yet, but it's going to be changing. And what I wanted to talk about was stepping into your authentic power, stepping into your authenticity, and why we don't. And, you know, you're probably like, what does this have to do with anything, Karishma? But I can tell you right now that that part of me that feels guided, that, you know, there's a part of me that pulls me. It pulls me to certain things. It pulls me out of certain things. I've been sharing a lot of my name change. I had a name change post that I put out yesterday, a couple of days ago. And I've been sharing about my divorce that happened a year ago. And the truth is, you know, the truth sets us free. It really does. The truth sets us free. And most of us, and I don't know if this is you, but I can talk about me, spend our lives hiding in plain sight. And hiding is really hard. Hiding is really hard. I didn't realize it was emotional today, but I'm going to go with what is, because it's okay. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be me. And I'm embracing all of that today. And I didn't realize it was hiding. And, you know, it's interesting because, and I'm going to use my example. And again, as I'm talking, I want you to connect with what's coming up for you, because whatever you're connecting with is absolutely perfect. But for me, my separation happened a year and a half ago. And my divorce was filed a year ago. And I had a lot of fear. You know, and I talked about how I held on to my married name until one day, it was so crazy. In October, I'm at a doctor's office, and I'm literally, the doctor calls me. It's like, Karishma, we need your name and your date of birth and your ID for your insurance, excuse me, as I have this appointment the next day. And I'm literally spelling my name out loud, Makani. And as every letter is coming out, like, the insides of me are like screaming. Like, I had this weird visceral response inside of me. And I was like, what is this? And I realized that holding on to that old identity was suffocating to me. And I wanted to ask you today, and I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. It's whatever you want to share with me. And, you know, I'm realizing more and more when I let things out and I say things that are hard to say initially, but when I have the courage to say things that need to be said, guess who becomes free as a result of that? It's me. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's me, right? And so it's just like that truth sets me free. The truth sets us free. And I wanted to ask you, and this is really about self-reflection, and if you have the courage to write it here, bring it on, because that's what I want in my life today. I don't want shallow. I don't want surface. I want to go deeper. I want to go deeper. I want to create deep, profound friendships, connections with people in my life. And we're willing to go into the places that most of us aren't willing to go. And so just asking yourself, what area in your life have you been hiding? In what area in your life have you been hiding? In what area in your life are you playing small? In what area in your life have you not been all of you? And I'm going to share my epiphanies, and they have not been fun. They have actually been painful. But I'm hoping that my sharing what's going on with me allows you to connect with what's going on with you. And if you're interested in having a conversation, I'm going to drop a link here for a 15-minute conversation, not a sales call. if you feel called to connect with me, I'm not doing this for sales. And sometimes people want to connect with me. So I'm going to share what's kind of coming up for me, or has been, excuse me, the last few weeks. One is I kind of, that whole divorce thing, right? And going through that path. This was back in October. And literally as soon as I had that, I need to change my name, I started the process. But before that, I was like, why is it that I haven't? And who am I trying to please? Because it's not about pleasing me and honoring me. Who am I trying to please? And I realized on some level, it was people in my family. And, in the Indian culture, in my culture, divorce is seen as a big stigma. It's almost like you're seen as a failure. And I think especially as a woman, you're expected to sacrifice you. You're expected to put your needs last. You're expected to show up for the family. And your needs don't really matter, especially as a woman. And so that internalization that I had for a long time of being a failure if I failed the marriage was really, really deep. And then as soon as even the name change thing happened, like, okay, I'm divorced, I'm still holding on to the old identity. Who am I pleasing? It's not about pleasing me. I'm still pleasing, like, maybe my ex-husband, maybe my parents. And I realized that I was holding on to that old identity, not for me, not for the pursuit of the freedom that I want, but because of my family. Thank you, Manon, for your authenticity. And that's everything. And sometimes we have the courage to say what's going on. What I'm realizing is, every time I felt like I've gone through extreme situations, and I'll share another story. Years ago, I had someone in my life that was actively drinking. And, in that moment, again, with the shame, the trauma, if any of you have lived with addiction, if any of you have been addicts, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even living with somebody who's like manic, depressed, suicidal, it doesn't really matter. Anyone with any kind of mental health stuff, going through that process years ago, oh my God, I thought I was alone. And I had a lot of shame. I had a lot of guilt. I blamed myself to some degree. And what was amazing is when I got really real with myself, and this is where I'm going here today, authenticity, the permission to be real, the permission to be you. And it's not about being you and going social media live like I am right now. It's permission to be you within you and to own your truth. And in that moment when I felt I had such despair and such loneliness and such isolation because I felt judged, I felt like I couldn't share this part of my life. I felt like, all the fake social media, perfect family pictures. I was really great at doing all that, like how perfect my life was on the outside. That's the image that I would portray. This is like 10, 12 years ago. And I felt like I had to be that, the perfect version of Krishma. And I couldn't be the despaired version, the anxious version, the sad version, the depressed version, all the things that were happening in my life. And what was amazing is when I had the courage to get really vulnerable with me and to be like, oh my God, I think I need help. It was amazing because a series of events happened where I went to a counselor. Counselor was like, no wonder you feel these things. Oh my God, look at what you're living with. Go get the support group. And I joined this 12-step program for families of alcoholics. Best thing that ever happened for me. Because in that room, I realized I'm not alone. In that room, I realized, they say this thing, and I shared this in my coaching call this morning, you are as sick as your secrets. And I realized that secret that I thought I had of holding on to this pain, this baggage, was actually keeping me stuck, was actually keeping me isolated, was keeping me lonely, was keeping me anxious. And I got to this point where one day at a time, I realized my life was unmanageable. And I want to ask you today, how is your life unmanageable? How is your life unmanageable? How are you hiding in plain sight? I was. And what was amazing is as soon as I joined this community, this 12-step program, the support that I received, the love that I received. Abundance is energy, folks. Most of us want more money, or you want more time, freedom, and more money, or you want more love. Everything is energy. Love is energy. Connection is energy. Prosperity is energy. People coming into your life to support you is energy. But guess who has to be willing to show up and be freaking vulnerable and be like, this isn't working for me. And that's what I get to do with my clients today. But it didn't start with me. I had to be down on my knees 10, 12 years ago. Be like, my life is completely unmanageable. I need help. And what was so beautiful, what happened, transpired after that. So if the source of receiving, and I really want you to write this down, is authenticity and vulnerability, how many more gifts, how much more receiving, how much more abundance, how much more love will you have if you show up as the real you? If you ask for support as the real you. And for me, what was amazing is as I went through that process and learned how to untangle myself, disentangle myself from this relationship in my life with an addiction, and I learned to find me through a process of that, learning, oh my God, I'm not alone. Oh my God, there's other people that are going through this. Oh my God, there's all this love and support. Oh my God, I get to have another relationship with the God that I have in my life. And as I started to learn all these tools, learn all these principles, what was amazing is when I went back into, first of all, I got mentally healthy. I learned how to sleep again. I learned how to parent better. I learned to self-parent better. Okay, and that was everything for me because I had no idea. I had no idea how to live with stress and chaos, and I learned this amazing toolbox that I still use today. I got to show up and serve, and so when I came in receiving help initially, I got to give back so much and contribute in such a big way. And when I did go back into the workforce a couple years later, because my kids were infants then, my salary literally had doubled. My investment in me, my time in me, my showing up and leaning in for support, my having the strength and courage to get out of my own way, to get out of isolation, to get out of loneliness, to show up and be like, I need help because that's where I'm at right now, because living this lie was suffocating. I don't know if any of you can write a yes in the chat if you've ever felt that way, like you're living a freaking lie. And it could be a lie in your marriage. It can be a lie in your business. It could be a lie in your career. It could be a lie with your family. If any of you ever felt like you have lived a lie, it is awful. It is suffocating and it like kills you on the inside. And what was amazing is as a result of getting support and love and grace, within 2 years, literally within 2 years, and I went all into the support. And I guess that's one thing that I can really be grateful for, that I go all in on things. I go all in on things. When I make a decision, I go all in on them. And that happened, what happened for me is if I think about love came back into my life. Connection, because I wasn't living so isolated anymore. I learned how to be healthy. I started attracting a different group of friends in my life where I could share what was going on. And then just really starting to learn what it looked like to be whole and complete within me outside of anyone else outside of me. I learned to stand up for myself and own my worth and value. And literally within 2 years, I was able to double my income in the W-2 world and get some amazing positions of leadership. So how are you holding yourself back? How are you hiding in plain sight? And I made a couple of really big decisions this week. And one of the things that I really want to honor myself more on, that sometimes I do, I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, I second guess myself. I second guess myself sometimes. I second guess decisions that I make sometimes. And I made some really big decisions this past weekend. I just want to share them with you for the purpose of my accountability and my willingness and my wanting to be even more authentic in this group. And if you don't want authentic, that's okay. You don't have to be here. You get to leave. It's okay. I'm not vested in any of you being here. But for me, I can't live a lie anymore. And I can't not honor me anymore. And it's just like, sometimes when we have the ability to share what's going on, share that vulnerability. And I have those connections with my coach, my best friends. And I say, sometimes I just feel so tired. Sometimes I feel like I'm not a good mom. Sometimes I feel like I'm not a good coach. Sometimes I feel like I need to do more. And we all have those moments where we feel yuck. But having support on the other side means that I don't have to get stuck in the victim stories. I can come into the other side and be like, wow, actually what I do have is this. What I do have is this. What I do have is this. And I get to come back and start living a different reality, because our relationship with our inside is what dictates our relationship on the outside. So the more open I am within me, the more vulnerable I'm within me, the more I'm like, you know what, this is working, this isn't working. I'm willing to share, to like come from my heart and really share what's happening, and to be able to get support. That has literally saved me over and over and over again. And like God shows me I'm not alone. The other decision that I made, one is like sharing real stories. This is my life. Having gone through living with some addiction, having gone through a divorce, having gone through really big things in my life, having gone through severe burnout, having like almost given up this business that I love, that I feel is my purpose and my calling. I've gone through all of that. And the lessons that I've learned from my life, from my clients' lives, from the support that I have has been like limitless support. But the key was the vulnerability and authenticity of clients showing up, being willing to be like, I need help. For me to be willing to show up with my coach, be like, I need help. I don't know how to do this. Sometimes I feel like I'm dying. Whatever it is that we're going on, I'm encouraging you to show up more, to speak your truth, to honor you, because sometimes living a lie can be really suffocating. The other commitment that I made is actually I'm in the process of shifting things in the business. And, a lot of times we stay in things because it's safe. We stay in things because it's the known. We stay in things because it's all we know. And the truth is that, I've been wanting to serve people outside of just real estate investors for a while. I want to serve people that really want to be authentic and live authentic lives, that really want to honor showing up fully and confidently. I want to serve people that really want to live from a place of love and joy and freedom. And for me, and I'll be honest, like even how I came to this was crazy. A few months into my coaching business, it was during COVID where I really launched my business. I got support from a business coach. Things really picked up for me as a coach. And I had the 6-figure month. I literally had a 6-figure month within 4 or 5 months of my business. Like I kicked ass, got a lot of sales. I have 0 sales background. Within 6 months of my coaching business, I got a 6-figure month. And guess what I had told myself? I told myself I could make more money than my husband at the time. I told myself that who am I to deserve abundance? Who am I to do any of this? And this story I told myself, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Guess what I did? I self-sabotaged. And within a couple of months, my sales had dried up to almost nothing because I was afraid of showing up. I was afraid of being me. I was afraid. I had this, and it's never a conversation. Of course, my husband would be like, yeah, if you make money, I make money, right? Like we make money and it's our money. And of course, there were a lot of reasons why to continue to serve and continue to sell and doing all the things. But my fear, my inability to show up fully for me, it wasn't about anybody else. I decided that I wasn't enough. I decided I didn't deserve all the good things. And I shut it down. And it's like amazing because how much I've learned so much about me. I've learned to create time freedom. I've learned to create a life that works for me on my terms. And my clients that I work with today really want freedom. They want to live their lives with joy. They want to live their lives with time freedom. I've literally had a few sales calls recently and they're like, Krishma, I'm working 60 hours a week, but I don't want to stop. Cool. You're not my client. You're not the client for me, and that's perfect. But for the people that are really willing to show up and have the courage to show up, that are willing to take the risks, that are willing to be all in on them, that are willing to show up in a way to break free of all the BS stories that they have created in their life, and that is me. Those are the people I want to serve today. And so you're going to see a lot more interesting messaging, a lot more. I'm just going to share me. I'm going to share me, and what I really want to serve is people that want freedom. Money is great. Money is great. The money isn't going to buy freedom, friends. The freedom that we want has to come from the inside. The freedom to take risks, the freedom to have courage, the freedom to speak your truth, the freedom to ask for support, the freedom to trust yourself, to do what's right for you, knowing that someone's got your back is infinite. So I just love to when you guys are watching this, replay, whatever, what is resonating with you? And those that are here live, I know a few of you are here live, what is coming up for you? What is like an aha, a takeaway that you might have right now from what I shared? And specifically around, not showing up fully? Like, what bullshit story have you been telling yourself that's actually keeping you stuck, that's keeping you safe, that's keeping you small, that's keeping you from sharing your light? And I'm going to tell something to you, and it's going to be crazy. But I learned this in the rooms of Al-Anon, in the 12-step program that I attended years ago. When one person shares, and they have the courage to be fully authentic, and they have the courage to be fully vulnerable, it gives everyone around them a chance to show up. And those connections, those interactions are so powerful, where we can truly show up and be us. That, for me, friends, is freedom. So write in the chat what is resonating with you, and I'd love to see the comments, read the comments, and engage with you here. And I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.